Connect, Primary 6. Term 2 Audio.
Are you ready? Let's start. Listen and say.
Clay, glass, gold, granite, paper, papyrus, artifacts, preserve, durable, fascinating, guide, excited, student, ancient Egyptians, condition, Tutankhamun's tomb, reason, certain, climate, weather, material, valuable, pots, close to, hot, cold, interesting, dry, wet.
Lesson 1. Exercise 1. Listen and read. Why are Temer and Tamora at the museum?
Good morning and welcome to the Museum of Ancient History. My name is Mr. Torek and I am your guide today.
Good morning, Mr. Torek. I'm Temer and this is my sister Temara. We're students at Egyptian Eagle Primary School and these are our parents.
We're excited to learn more about ancient Egyptian artifacts.
Great! What would you like to know?
Well, first of all, why do we have so many artifacts?
That's an interesting question. One reason is the climate. We have a hot, dry climate here in Egypt, so artifacts aren't damaged by cold and wet weather. This helps to preserve them. The ancient Egyptians also knew that certain materials could last a long time. That's why they built the pyramids with granite, a very hard and durable stone.
That's fascinating. What other materials did they use?
They used a lot of glass, which lasts forever. They also used clay, which is found close to the River Nile, to make pots.
I also heard they used a lot of gold in Tutankhamun's tomb.
Yes, the ancient Egyptians liked to use gold because it is valuable, but it is also very durable. When they covered artifacts in gold, they kept them in good condition.
I'm happy about that. It's exciting to enjoy the things they made.
Are you ready? Let's start. Listen and say.
1,
Baboon,
2,
monkey,
3,
rat,
4,
crocodile,
5,
hippo,
6,
falcon,
7,
ibis,
8,
snake,
Mouse, mice, particularly, almost, turtle, knowledge, everyday life, therefore, pests, pet, of course, trick, university, safe, especially, afterlife, tombs, thousands, decision, whole time, hiking, a boat ride, free, dangerous, difficult, popular, common, important, easy.
One. What was the ancient Egyptians' favorite animal?
The ancient Egyptians loved animals and kept many as pets. They particularly adored cats, and there was a cat in almost every house. The ancient Egyptians believed that cats looked after them and kept them safe. They were also good pets because they cleaned themselves and kept the houses free of pests like rats and snakes. This was particularly important for farmers, who produced a lot of grain. The mice didn't eat the grain because the cats ate the rats.
2.
What other animals did the ancient Egyptians keep?
As well as cats, many people kept monkeys and baboons. Some people even kept crocodiles, hippos, and lions, which were dangerous and difficult to look after. They weren't popular pets.
3.
Did the ancient Egyptians keep birds as pets as well?
Yes, they did. The ancient Egyptians loved birds too, especially falcons and the ibis, which represented wisdom. There are thousands of mummified ibises in Saqqara alone. All these pets weren't only important for the ancient Egyptians' everyday life, they were also important in the afterlife. It is therefore common to find mummified pets and statues of animals in the tombs.
4.
What animals are popular pets in Egypt today?
Today, cats are still popular pets in Egypt. Other animals that people keep today include turtles, fish, and birds, which are of course much smaller and easier to look after than baboons and crocodiles.
Complete the conversation with the past simple. Then listen and check.
Hi, Nisma. Did you have a nice weekend?
Hi, Mayar. Yes, I did. I went to El Azhar Park with my family.
What did you do there?
We had a picnic. Then we went on a boat ride. It was great.
Did you go hiking?
No, we didn't. We wanted to, but it started to rain. Did you have a good weekend?
No, I didn't. I fell over and hurt my arm, so I stayed in bed the whole time.
Are you ready? Let's start. Listen and say.
Stone, glass, metal, gold, silver, weapon, economy, tools, iron, Tutankhamun's mask, country, lines, chin, goods, buying, selling, jewelry, beard, culture, top, whiteboard, system, object, fighting, hunting, art, shape, craftsman, sculpture, harder, different, popular, rarer, common, fascinating, on, in front of, between, under, next to, behind.
Listen to Inji's and Delia's class presentation. What do you think the ancient Egyptians found around 7,000 years ago?
Our class presentation is about trade in ancient Egypt. I'm Inji, and this is Delia. The ancient Egyptians bought from and sold many things to different countries. This is called trading. Delia, can you tell us what kinds of things the ancient Egyptians traded?
Thanks, Inji. Well, one of the most interesting things they traded with other countries was metal. The ancient Egyptians first found metal in rocks around 7,000 years ago. They heated the rocks and took out the metal parts. They learned that metal was harder than stone and that they could melt and make different shapes with it.
That's fascinating, Delia. Thank you. What did they use the metal for?
They used it to make tools and weapons so that they could hunt on the land and grow things like food more easily. Gold and silver were popular metals for making jewelry and decorations. As art and culture were very important to the ancient Egyptians, many of their craftsmen used different types of metal to make statues and sculptures to sell.
That's right. But they didn't just sell metal to other countries. They also bought some metals, like silver, which they got through trade with countries. And as they traded more, this helped the ancient Egyptians develop their economy, until ancient Egypt was one of the strongest economies in the world.
Yes, you only need to look at the ancient Egyptian artifacts in museums today to see that this is true.
Well, that's the end of our presentation. Does anyone have any questions, please?
Are you ready? Let's start. Listen and say.
Trip over. Hug. Tears. Castle. Reward. Rose. Daughter. Human. True. Night. World. Around. Outside. Before. Goat. Garden. Ground. Wish. Chair. Again. Minute. Trip over. Meal. Sick. Kind. Warm. Golden. Special. Precious. Strange looking.
Listen and read. What did King Midas wish for? How did he feel about his wish at the end of the story?
King Midas and the Golden Touch. Many years ago, there lived a king called King Midas. He loved three things more than anything else: his daughter, Marigold, his rose garden, and gold. His favorite thing was to spend time in his garden with Marigold. But he also liked to look at all the gold in his castle. One night, he was walking in his garden when he tripped over something on the ground. It was a strange-looking goat. It looked very sick. King Midas was a kind man, so he took the goat into his castle. There he gave it food and a warm bed. In the morning, the goat felt much better. "I would like to thank you, King Midas," said the goat. "What would you like more than anything else in the world?" King Midas thought for a minute, then said, "I would like everything I touch to turn into gold." "Okay," said the goat, and made the king's wish come true. King Midas was very excited. After the goat left, he walked around the castle. When he touched a chair, it turned to gold. When he touched his bed, it turned to gold too. To celebrate, he asked for a special meal. But when he touched the food, he couldn't eat it because it turned to gold. Then he went outside into the garden to find Marigold. When he hugged her, she also turned to gold. King Midas started crying. "Please come back, goat," he said. "I can't lose Marigold." His tears fell on his precious roses, and they turned to gold. But he didn't care about roses or gold anymore. He just wanted to save his daughter. The goat heard King Midas and returned to change everything back to how it was before. "Thank you so much," said King Midas. "I will never think gold is so important again."
Unit 7. Pronunciation. Exercise 1. Look and say. Then listen and repeat. 1,
Bear,
2,
hair,
3,
share,
4,
there.
Exercise 2. Look at the pictures and complete the sentences with the words in the box. Then listen, check, and repeat. 1,
That gemstone is very rare. It's not easy to find.
2,
This pear looks delicious.
3,
There's a pair of brown shoes.
4,
I like walking in the fresh air.
5,
Don't pull that. You'll tear it.
6,
What do you want to wear today?
Exercise 3. Listen and write. 1,
Rare.
2,
Where?
3,
Bear.
4,
Air.
5,
Pear.
6,
Hair.
Are you ready? Let's start. Listen and say.
Copper, bronze, iron, meteorite, silver, scarab amulet, dagger, mine, precious, fire, heaven, mirror, sheet silver, salt, amazingly, later, result, fortune, craftsman, possible, item, agricultural, image, when, where, what, why.
Iron in ancient Egypt.
When did the ancient Egyptians start using iron?
The ancient Egyptians started using iron more than 5,000 years ago. Before iron, they worked with copper and bronze.
Where did they find iron?
Amazingly, some of the early iron was from meteorites. Ancient Egyptian craftsmen made a famous dagger for Tutankhamun's tomb from a meteorite. They also mined iron from the ground, but they found it quite difficult to use because it needs a very hot fire to melt, which often wasn't possible.
Why did they think iron was special?
They thought iron was special because they believed it came from the sky. Because of the meteorites, they called it the metal of heaven. For them, iron was more precious than gold because it was rarer.
What did they use iron for?
Early on, the ancient Egyptians used iron for small items like jewelry. Copper and bronze were common metals for tools because they were easier to find. But later on, iron agricultural tools and weapons began to appear. This was the result of the ancient Egyptians getting more iron through trade with other countries.